Alan Cross has a cool job. He's a music podcaster. He's a music expert. He travels the world seeing bands. That's what we're talking about today, people with cool jobs. And joining us for a segment on what might be the coolest job, or is it the hottest job? We'll have to ask him, is Barista Brian. Welcome to QR Calgary, Barista Brian.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you for having me.
Now, your real name is Brian Leonard, but Barista Brian's so fabulous, we should roll with that.
Yeah, you can call me Barista Brian, Barista for short, or just Brian works too.
Okay, Barista Brian, you are an international latte artist.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That sounds very fancy, but I make latte art at events. And I started making latte art as a hobby, but I had a lot of great opportunities early on in my career to go on TV and showcase what I was doing in media. And then I started to meet famous people and do celebrity events. And so I've had a long career as a latte artist who travels to events around mostly North America. And I create latte art using food coloring and do painting. So it's like live painting, but on foam, and then you can drink it and have a coffee.
So if you drink coffee or you go to your favorite cappuccino place, coffee place, you see them maybe do like a little design or a heart or a little smiley face. But how did you ever go from doing the rudimentary basic foam art that we've all seen on our coffees to doing portraits of really famous people like Daniel Radcliffe and Eddie Redmayne and Mr. Beast, who every kid is addicted to on YouTube?
Yeah, isn't that nuts? And don't forget Meryl Streep.
Okay, and Meryl Streep.
Yeah, very important one. No, it was a hobby. I picked up bartending in Toronto and then working in cafes, and I just loved latte art. And I was making, the designs we see like hearts and bears and shapes. And then I started to doodle little faces. And I just took every opportunity I had to show people what I could do with latte art because it made people happy. But I also felt like it was something that I was really motivated by. And I didn't know where it could go. But I just felt like I need to take every chance I have to show people what I can do. So I was working in a cafe, and I would just make a little quick doodle of everyone's face. And then one day, that little doodle was someone who worked for a magazine. And then they called me Toronto's best latte artist. And then I started to have a media career. And then I went to events at the Toronto International Film Festival and Sundance early in my career and met many famous people. And it just was like Hollywood history from there.
We're talking to Brian Leonard, but better known as Barista Brian. This sounds like an act you need to bring to the Calgary Stampede. You could have your own area. You could be doing portraits of our famous people who are dropping in. Our premier would be there. We have, parade marshals like Kevin Costner, and then people would pay you to do their portrait in their cowboy hats. I'm telling you, there's an opportunity to be at Calgary Stampede this summer.
Well, I would love that so much. I've been to the Stampede once. I used to live in Alberta, actually. When I was younger, I lived in Banff for a year, so I was in Calgary all the time. But I'd love to do some latte art and make some cowboy hats, certainly.
What is it? Do people look at their latte art, try and burn it into their brains, take a photo, and then sip their face off? Is that what people do with your work?
Yeah, you just have to enjoy it for a moment because it won't look good for long. It melts, it's moving. So if you take a picture, I consider that a high compliment. And then, the rest is history. So, chug-a-lug.
Chug-a-lug. Is there any difference in it being easier to do women versus men or old versus young? Is there a face that's the easiest to do if you're a latte artist?
I'd say maybe a face that doesn't have a lot of features, maybe like very short hair or maybe no hair, is quite easy. And it's maybe someone with complicated features or they have glasses or a hat on. I like to do people as they are a lot of the time. So, if it's doing like someone in a hat and then they have long hair and then they have a little bit of facial hair or whatever. There's not really a limit.
Barista Brian, I'm telling you I have the perfect face for latte art. 1, I have super short hair. 2, I have a very average face. 3, no facial hair. 4, I don't wear hats and I don't wear glasses. So I'm feeling like I could be latte art.
Sold. Next time I'm in Calgary, there's a latte with your face on it, okay?
And so what's the plan? Can you make this your lifelong career? Is this a stop on the career path and you have other things you want to do? Where does being an international latte artist fit on the life resume?
It's so unexpected, the whole thing. I didn't know I was going to do this at all, and I've been doing it for 10 years almost now. And I've had such incredible opportunities that sometimes I wonder how much further I can take it. Or, I've met so many incredible people. Who else can I meet? I've met maybe 2 vice presidents of America. Maybe I could meet a real president or like the prime minister. But I don't know where this is going to go. I feel like this is one stop on my life journey, and I have a lot of creative endeavors and passions I'd like to keep exploring, and I'm happy to keep making latte art while people want me to make it. And currently I'm doing coffee tours in Fredericton, New Brunswick. So if you want to come see me there, I'm doing some tours. You can see that on my Instagram, Barista Brian. And I'll be traveling to various events this year, and we'll see what happens.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the Instagram because New Brunswick is a little bit far for us to just throw ourselves over in the next day and try and catch you. But to see it on the Instagram, I think is really great. So give us your Instagram one more time and people can check out your cool faces made from coffee, milk, and other ingredients.
Yeah, I've had a really fun career, and it's all on my Instagram at Barista Brian, and that's Brian with an I. And, yeah, go check it out, and we'll see you there.